Hi, beautiful friends. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. My name's Jess. This is the Scapegoat Club. And today I want to talk about the challenges of deciding when if it's the right time for you to leave a narcissistic relationship, and how money might play into that decision. And I think I've been shying away from this because talking about money in I think in Western culture is maybe a little bit, it's not, we look down on it a little bit, but it's real. So screw it, let's talk about it. It's a real thing. So let's dive into it and see where we get to. So first of all, leaving a narcissistic relationship, as you will know if you've followed my journey, it's a really difficult decision. And leaving any relationship is difficult because we have a history. We have good times and bad times. I think the more we find out, especially about narcissists, and we find out about their dark side, it's very easy to look at all the relationship as all bad, but no relationship is all bad. No relationship is all good. And so making that decision to leave is really, really difficult. If it's a family member, if it's a parent, if it's a sibling, maybe it's a child even that you're looking to end the relationship with, or it's hard because you can't replace family. They are the ones really that you're born with and you're stuck with. And if your narcissist is a partner or a spouse, then there's a reason why you got together with them. There's a reason why you decided to share your life with them. There are things about them that you fell in love with that really appeal to you, and it's really, really hard to say that, to walk away from that. So I think if you are looking at ending your narcissistic relationship, then please be aware of that and please be kind to yourself. It's very difficult. It's very sad. We have a tendency to look back on the past. And narcissists have this very frustrating habit as well, which I've heard called future faking. They'll promise to change. They'll say, oh, that happened going forward, so it'll be different. And so if you're staying because you think it might get better, I think it's very important at that point to give yourself a bit of tough love. We all need to do that if we're in narcissistic relationships, and say the evidence is out there that narcissists don't change. They just don't change. They don't see that they have a problem, so they don't change. So if you're staying in your narcissistic relationship because you think it might get better, I'm sorry, but it's not going to. So another reason to stay in a relationship might be that you think you can't handle it on your own, or that you maybe have children with a narcissist, or you're worried about breaking up a family unit. I can understand that's a very, very difficult position to be in, but if I can just give my 2 cents worth of someone who grew up in a narcissistic family, I would then and now, I would change it all for even one healthy caregiver who would love me, see me for who I was, support me, and be able to provide that kind of positive role model for me. Also, growing up in what was an abusive relationship with my parents has led to all sorts of mental and physical challenges as an adult. And so bringing a child up in that situation is actually something to be very seriously considered. And I think you need to seriously consider why you would stay rather than why you wouldn't leave. So let's talk about money, because narcissists and money go hand in hand. In our Western society, money means power, money means status, money means that you can maybe buy something that someone else doesn't have, that you can assert your, yourself a little higher than someone else. And that's what narcissists, that's what they need to do. That's how they survive. And so narcissists often, in my experience, they're very controlling around money. They like to have that money and they use it as an extension of their power in a way. So if you're looking to leave a narcissistic relationship, it could be that money is being used as a I don't want to say a weapon, but it may be a weapon, or maybe some kind of carrot to keep you in there, maybe some kind of threat if you leave. Well, I think there's a couple of different types of relationships to consider. So one is if you're married to a narcissist, or they're your partner or your spouse, and you're worried about the financial implications of moving on. And obviously in this situation, everybody's situation is different. And I can't speak to this one so much because I haven't been in this situation, but I know of people that are. And I think what I can say is that there's a difference between having no money and having enough money. And I believe in our society that hopefully there are enough checks and balances are in place that everybody should have enough money. And so if you're looking to leave, but when I talk about enough money, I'm talking about enough to pay the bills, to have a roof over your head, and to put food on the table. That is enough money. Having more money is nice, but there actually comes a point, and the studies have been shown that the more money you have, the kind of, it's an upward curve, that the more money you have, that eventually you get to a point where it actually starts to level off and actually can decrease. So there's a difference between having enough money to have what you want and having the extra money that really doesn't bring you much more happiness. So I think if you're looking at leaving a narcissist, it's very important to see whether you have enough money or whether the issue is around wanting more money. And so coming back to my situation, my parents have threatened me with disownment. They've asked if, do I want to be a part of the family? And if not, then if I'm not going to toe the line, then I'm out. And I assume that what that means is that they are looking at disinheriting me and writing me out of their wills. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I know my parents, and I know them better than I think we all want to admit. And so I'm pretty sure that that's on the cards. And I'm not going to lie, it's been a big factor for me because my parents are well off, and the amount of money that potentially I would inherit would be life-changing for me. But would it be nice to have more? Absolutely. But it comes at a cost. Narcissistic relationships are costly. They cost a lot of time. They cost a lot of psychic and emotional energy. And it's costing my health. And I got to the point myself where I just thought, money, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And I think for me, there's also, it wasn't so much actually about the money in the end that I was hanging on to in terms of my family. It was the fairness. So I have a sister who has caused so much trouble and basically has caused this rift, and my parents, she's the favorite, she's the golden child, and I'm the scapegoat. I'm the one that gets blamed for everything. And it's looking very much like, she will get, if she doesn't get it all, she'll get this much, and maybe I'll be left with this much. And so it's that inequality that is so frustrating. And actually, when I take a step back, that is actually what upsets me more than the money. The fact that they can't see me for who I am, they can't treat us equally, they can't see my worth, I find very, very upsetting. And it's almost like the money is just a representative of their feelings and their love for me. And actually, that's how they show love. That's how my parents have, if they've ever shown any kind of kindness and support towards me, it's been through financial means. And so for them to withdraw that is actually really, it says a lot. It communicates a lot about our relationship and their feelings towards me, and it's really hard. And that's something that I've had to work through, and I'm still working through, and it's a grieving process, and it's really difficult. But what I will say is that having made the decision to separate myself from my family, and realizing that may come at a financial cost to me, as well as the grieving process around the fact that I have had to leave a family unit, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do, and it's a very unnatural thing to do. Thinking about what I've gained from distancing myself from them is actually immense. Being able to move forward to a future where I make decisions for me and that are right for me, and that I don't have to explain to them and I don't have to hide from them, that's huge. Knowing that I can actually move forward into a career or into life decisions that support me as a person mean that let's bring it back to money, my earnings potential is actually way, way bigger. I'm healthier, I can concentrate better, so all of these things add into the fact that I can now actually, leaving them leaves me in a better position to look after my own financial future. And I think perhaps if you're in a spousal relationship like that, that is something that shouldn't be underestimated. The ability to move on and not be under this immense weight of an abusive relationship means that you can't fulfill your potential when you're in that relationship. So once you've left, you can just do so much more. And the self-esteem that comes with that, I think, as well as the money, is going to be worth more than the money that you may have given up when you leave. I think I'm also going to address this. This is the last bit of tough love is, well, yeah, but what am I owed? I'm owed inheritance, or I'm owed something from a divorce from my partner. Well, here's the thing, actually, we're all adults and life isn't fair. If life was fair, then narcissists wouldn't be out there and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There's good and bad in the world, and it all comes and goes. It's all part of the same story in a way. And yeah, it would be nice to say, well, I'm owed this much or I should get that much, but ultimately we're all in charge of our own destinies, and we are, yeah, it's very hard if you've been manipulated and lied to, and you've found yourself in a situation that has been brought on by someone else's bad intentions. But ultimately it's up to us to look after ourselves and our own futures, and to say, okay, that happened, that happened. It wasn't right, it wasn't fair, but it's on me now to move on, and that's what I have to do, and that's where my responsibility comes. It's a really, really hard thing to do. I've struggled with it for a really, really long time, but ultimately taking that responsibility and moving on has actually, I found it very freeing, and I believe that if that's something that you can do in your lives as well, it will really help, and it will help you just move on into a better place where you're not even in the game and you're not being dragged down anymore by something that ultimately is never going to change. So if you are in the situation and you're thinking of leaving, but the financial implications are too scary of you, I would suggest really thinking very, very carefully about whether it is real financial distress you would be in, and if so, are there ways that you can plan and prepare so that at some point you will be able to make the changes you want to make? Or is it really something else? Are there other things involved? And in that case, perhaps taking the money out of the situation, just allowing yourself to think, well, if the money wasn't there, what would I do? If you can get an answer there that says, well, if money wasn't an issue, then I would leave, or I would distance myself, or I would make this decision, then I hope that you will consider doing that very carefully, because I think down the line it all evens out and you won't even be thinking about it. So I hope that helps if you're in that situation, and I again thank you very much for being here. And if you like the video, please drop me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. I always love to hear from you, and I will talk to you again soon. Lots of love. Take care, everybody. Bye.